Today, I'm right on the edge of a cliff, walking right next to the Pacific Ocean, heading down to the Terranea Resort, and I have no idea what I'm gonna see or what this walk is gonna be like. Never been down here before. It's gonna be fun to show you guys some beautiful views because, you know, the sad reality is like 1 in 5 Americans right now thinks that they'll never own a home. I'm just never gonna have that opportunity. But like I kind of covered in my last video, not everybody should be a homeowner, right? Not everybody needs to buy right now. And some of you guys that watch my channel have shared with me many times over that you feel happy being a renter. It's cheaper, it gives you the flexibility that you want to have in life, and you know, you like not having to worry about fixing things and everything that comes along with being a tenant versus owning your own real estate. And I totally get that. So I don't want to cry a river for everybody who's saying that, oh, you know, I'll never be able to own a house, because it might not be as bad as it sounds, but you never know, right? Everybody has a different outlook on this. But this is where it becomes sad, because everybody who thinks that they'll never be able to own a house, right? 40% of those people think that the only way they're ever going to become a homeowner is if they literally win the lottery. Now, obviously, that is not a financial strategy. That's just all 100% luck. And 26% of those folks think that the only way that they're going to be able to own a home is that they would need to inherit money from somebody. And that's pretty much the same thing as winning the lottery. Maybe your odds are a little bit higher if you have some wealthy relatives, but that's about it. And even sadder than that, 19% of those people say the only other way is that they would have to marry somebody rich in order to own a home. So as you can see, the mentality of these folks is really help me. Somebody else needs to come into the picture and give me the money to be able to buy, or it's just not going to happen, which is a really sad outlook for people, guys. And I'm more sad for their state of mind than their position in life, to be quite honest, because if you feel like you need someone to jump in there and save you to be able to own a home one day, then you clearly don't have the right outlook on life with anything, because everybody that I know, for the most part, has gotten there out of their own hard work, okay? I don't really know anybody that I can think of that inherited a large chunk of money or inherited a house from somebody and that's why they're rich. Like, all the people I know are self-made. But of course, there's a good percentage of people out there who are not and actually had all the good stuff handed to them in life, right? That just happens to people, and it didn't happen to me, didn't happen to anybody I know. And the other big reveal from this story, besides a poor outlook from people that want things to be handed to them or some stroke of luck to be able to become a homeowner or have something in life, is this. 57% of the people who answered this poll are saying that they don't think that they could afford to buy a house where they live right now in their current neighborhood. And I think this is part of the dilemma that a lot of people face nowadays, is that, you know, I can't afford it where I live, therefore I cannot afford to buy a house. But it's simply not true. And obviously, if you live in a place like this, practically no one can afford to buy a house, okay? No matter how well you do in life, because the real estate prices around here are absolutely bonkers. But if you move to an area where things are more affordable, then maybe you can afford it. So once again, it's just a mentality problem, I think, for a lot of people, more than a financial issue. I mean, you can still buy a house in Ohio, guys, for less than $200K. Did you know that? Same thing for Nebraska, Illinois. There's states out there where you can buy homes that are cheap. Do you want to live there? Are you willing to sacrifice the big urban city that you live in right now? Is that something that you want to give up to go to one of these areas? Only you can decide that. But despite all of this, 67% of people are still hopeful that one day they will be able to own a home. Far fewer people said that they're basically hopeless and never will be able to. So even though there's a percentage of people, you know, 1 in 5, that think that they'll never be able to own a home, the vast majority of Americans are still very optimistic about their future. And I think that's how you have to be about life in general, guys. I mean, you know, there's times when I'm making these videos and I think, oh, you're not gonna like it, or sometimes the video doesn't perform well, and I think, you know, maybe no one's interested in watching this anymore or whatever. It's easy to get down on yourself about things, but you have to keep trying. You know, that's what I'm doing here. I put out a video that, you know, you guys didn't like or didn't do as well as I thought it would. I just move on. I make the next one and try again. And I think that's really the formula for success in life in general, right? You have to just keep moving on and try again. And the same thing is true for anybody who's struggling to become a homeowner. You're getting outbid by people who have more money than you. Fine, keep trying. Don't give up. You can't afford the area you live in now? Fine, keep trying. Find somewhere else you can. There's always a way, right? There's that old saying, when there's a will, there's a way. But the one part of this story that I really liked is this. 52% of people who took this survey believe that the current housing market is unstable. You bet it is. It's completely unstable. The way things are going right now is just completely unsustainable, guys. So at least more than half of Americans recognize that that is true. And 46% of people believe that things will level out within the next 2 to 5 years, meaning that home prices will stabilize, affordability will stabilize, and I also believe the same. I'm an optimist at heart. You know, sometimes people watch my videos and think I'm a negative guy, but I'm not. I actually do believe that things will level out. But the problem is, not everybody, okay, but a lot of people who watch the channel want to see things turn around yesterday. And unfortunately, real estate just doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that quickly. But you're always going to have your share of hopeless people, right? You have 17% of these people saying that they think that the market will never return to being affordable or stable ever again, and we're just going to be in this death spiral forever. And I don't believe that to be true, because I don't see any financial avenue for that possibility to play out. The only way that would happen is if every single dollar out there chasing an investment was continually invested in real estate forever. So anytime a piece of property came up for sale, an investor would be buying it no matter what. But we're already seeing that that's not happening anymore now that interest rates are higher, because you got to remember, investors heavily rely on low interest rates just like consumers do, and it's already really slowing down the amount of investment they're putting into things, not only because interest rates are high, but because the profitability is just not there. It doesn't make sense to invest in real estate when you're not turning a profit, and you can just turn around and buy treasury bills and make more money. That's the conundrum that a lot of investors are facing right now with investing in real estate. Now here's another big reveal about people's mentality. 56% of folks think that if they were to apply for a mortgage today, that they would be denied. Now, whether they're saying that because they know that their financial situation is not great and they will actually be denied because they're just carrying too much debt or they don't make enough money, then yeah, okay, they're smart enough to realize that. But some people are just assuming that it's not gonna work out, I'll just get denied. They're just automatically assuming that's the case without ever even trying. And remember guys, it's free to get a mortgage pre-approval, okay? It doesn't cost anything. Whether you do that with your bank or a mortgage broker or anybody else, it doesn't cost any money to do that. So if you have any doubts of whether or not you can afford to buy, then it doesn't hurt to at least try. With today's circumstances, you may be right, because interest rates are high, home prices are high, and if you don't have the income and debt to income ratio to get approved, then you won't. But another thing to keep in mind is people oftentimes can actually get approved, but usually not for the type of home they want to buy, as far as the price range or the area, and the down payment circumstances that they have can really put a limitation on what people can qualify for, and that might give the misconception that they might not be able to qualify for anything. It just might not be what you want. The other thing is 47% of these people say that they're worried about home prices continuing to go higher as they continue to rent, feeling like they might be priced out of the market forever. And I don't understand that, because 52% of these same people say that they believe the housing situation will stabilize over the next few years, but yet you have almost half of everybody also saying that they're worried they're going to get priced out forever as a renter. They're going to be forced to rent forever. But the real concern from all of this is 63% of people say that they struggle to make ends meet. And the most common reason, the most common cause of this is the high cost of living. And what did I say in my video yesterday, guys? We were talking about how the interest rate hikes from the Fed haven't really had the desired effect on the economy yet. And what I said in that video is maybe it won't be high interest rates that price people out of this economy or the housing market. Maybe it will just be the high cost of living in general and inflation making everything too expensive, okay? And it's funny that it's not just an assumption, apparently on my part. This is what people are actually thinking and feeling right now. Wow, it feels so good to be out here right next to this water right now, guys, on this mountain. Like, I just love the weather here. I cannot say that enough. I'm just so happy not to be in Florida right now, dealing with the humidity and the 100-degree days and the rain and the potential hurricanes and all of this. I'm just in heaven right now. So I'm happy I'm able to bring you guys along this journey with me and show you guys something different. Now, another problem that people are having today is the economy has changed, okay? And the way that mortgages are underwritten pretty much was designed back in the 1940s when you had one W-2 wage earner and a single household income, okay? But things have changed tremendously since then, and we have the gig economy. We have a bunch of people that work as independent contractors, even real estate agents. 9 times out of 10 are independent contractors. You know, they don't actually have a job. You know, you're technically unemployed. You're self-employed. You don't have a place of employment, but yet the mortgage industry has kind of made it difficult for people who don't fit into their cookie cutter box of who can qualify for a loan and who can't to actually get a mortgage. And that makes it difficult for people as well. But I will tell you that there are plenty of programs out there that exist for people who are 1099 self-employed contractors, people who are in the gig economy and all of this. There are different types of mortgage products out there for you, but just keep in mind, unfortunately, they usually come with a downside, and that is higher interest rates. So people who follow the regular 9-to-5 schedule and work for the regular job and have the W-2 income, unfortunately, get the most favorable mortgage conditions out of pretty much anybody. But just know that there is hope, and there are ways that you can still get a mortgage if you need to. It's not like just because you don't have a traditional job that you're just done. My big concern with all of this is, you know, we see people's mentality is a lot of people want something for nothing, and a lot of people are concerned about being able to afford a home and get a mortgage. And here's the other problem, guys. We have different mortgage products, and one of them that still exists, which probably shouldn't even after the last great financial crisis, is adjustable rate mortgages. The reason I hate adjustable rate mortgages is because they kind of prey on people who are desperate to get a home, because typically the rates for adjustable rate mortgages are lower than going with a 15 or 30-year fixed rate loan. And because of that, people who are desperate to get into a home might opt to get one of these adjustable rate mortgages without thinking through or even paying attention to what their maximum payment can go up to later on down the road, just because it gets them into the house today. And that's the reason I don't like it. And also, the other thing it can do is it can help you buy more house than you can actually afford, because now that you have this lower rate, you can essentially qualify for a more expensive home, at least right now. But in the future, if interest rates adjust higher than that, you're in trouble. And if you're already at your maximum limit and your wages haven't been able to keep up with your higher payment, what are you gonna do now? Foreclosures coming next. And luckily though, one thing I've been wanting to cover for you guys is that because of this interesting interest rate situation that we're in right now, the 30-year mortgage rate is not that far away from what adjustable rate loans are offering right now. A lot of adjustable rate mortgages are offering anywhere between 6.5% and 7.2%, and the average 30-year fix right now is 6.95. So the adjustable rate mortgages don't have the appeal that they had before, thanks to these high interest rates. At least that's one less thing that a lot of new home buyers could get themselves into as far as making a purchasing mistake right now, not having to worry about weighing this option much, because there's not much to weigh. There's not really a big advantage to getting an adjustable rate mortgage in this environment. But that might be the case for buyers today, but it wasn't always the case. In fact, just a year ago, back in 2022, the difference in rates was actually a lot higher, okay? The 30-year fixed rate back in July of 2022 was 5.55%, right? but somebody could get an adjustable rate mortgage back then for 4.19% or up to 5.46%. So considerably lower than what the 30-year was. Anybody who thought that was a good idea back in 2022 is probably heavily regretting that decision right now, because they might have that low rate, but it's temporary, and they likely bought too much house. They paid top of the market prices, because that literally was the last peak of the housing market up until right now. And those buyers could potentially see foreclosures in the future if they're not able to refinance out of that property at a lower rate one day and actually have the equity to do something like that. They can be in big trouble. And literally 10% of borrowers back then in July of 2022 were applying to get adjustable rate mortgages. So while that's not the lion's share of borrowers, that's still a significant amount of people, guys. And I don't know how many homes were sold back in July of 2022, but if we use this annualized rate of around like 4.3 million homes sold per month, let's just say it was around the neighborhood of 400,000 homes that might have been sold back in July of 2022. Well, that means 40,000 of those people could potentially be in big trouble because they got an adjustable rate mortgage. So that's not good. So pretty much my opinion on this when it comes to adjustable rate mortgages is you probably shouldn't do it unless you know what you're doing. If you're a brand new home buyer, say you're a first-time buyer, you probably shouldn't go this route, guys, even if there is a savings there, because it's just too risky if you don't understand the full dynamics of how to get yourself out of that adjustable rate mortgage at the right point in time. But some people who are experienced home buyers or investors can easily take advantage of those type of loan products, and it will save them, a couple $100s each month, and that's a big savings over a course of 5 years, let's say. And if they're able to sell that property right at the right time, or they put enough equity into it and they can refinance out of it later, then you're good. But that's unfortunately not the reality for a lot of people that get them. You just need to be skeptical about it if it's something that gets offered to you, because so many people are desperate to buy a home. And if your mortgage broker tells you, well, you can qualify for, a $400,000 house now, and before you could only qualify for $350,000, so that will up your budget, but you're already having a hard time affording the $350,000, don't do it. But that's the sales tactic that a lot of these guys will use to get you into the house, okay? Real estate agents alike, they're just as guilty. Real estate agents, mortgage brokers, remember, guys, they're there to make the sale. They're trying to earn that commission. So you have to go with what you can afford and forget about what everybody else is saying. Because the moment you listen to them and you stop listening to what you can afford, that's when people get in trouble. So I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope you enjoyed these stunning views over here today. This is absolutely gorgeous. I feel like I'm over in Big Sur, and even though I'm not. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and please give this video a like. And if you don't want to wait for my next one to come out, check out this one on the screen right over here, and I'll see you in the next one.